You're with the Break-a-leggers, and we're in London, back at the Southwark Playhouse.
To see the musical, The Rink.
So stay tuned to find out how many legs.
Whether it's break a leg or leg it.
Before you brilliant people go any further,
To make sure you've always got your finger on the theatrical pulse,
for honest theatre reviews, news and interviews,
just hit subscribe now.
pop down and hit subscribe now. Comment below about this production or any other production you are seeing. Join our Lega community and let us know about the theatre you're passionate about.
So The Rink, music and lyrics by Kander Ebb.
Yes, who've also done Chicago, Cabaret and Kiss of the Spider Woman.
Yes, and book by Terence McNally.
Who's done Love, Valor and Compassion, The Full Monty, and also Kiss of the Spider Woman.
This musical focuses on the mother-daughter relationship of Anna and Angel as Anna decides to sell the roller skating rink that she runs, and they reunite to reflect on the memories they've shared.
Okay. Originally, this opened with Liza Minnelli and Chita Rivera.
Yes, on
Big
Broadway,
stars.
1984, and despite its Broadway royalty casting, it was a commercial and critical disaster.
I think it ran for about 204 performances.
Yeah, so just a few months on Broadway, and then the show had its UK premiere in Manchester in 1988, directed by Paul Kerrison. It enjoyed a sellout run there before transferring to the Cambridge Theatre in the West End, where
It had about 38 performances.
and once again it bombed, so never really been a successful production of this show.
Which I've got to say is a real shame, because I know this show. I did it way back in my Mountview days, and I think it is a fantastic show, fantastic score. I love the book.
The production that ran in London starred Diane Langton as Angel and was understudied by Caroline O'Connor, which brings us to this production.
Because Caroline O'Connor,
Yes, is playing Anna.
in this production.
In this production.
So it's gone full circle.
It has. Her credits include Mabel in Mack Mabel, for which she was nominated for a Olivier Award in 1996, and recently she appeared on Broadway in Anastasia the Musical alongside Ramin Karimloo. You may recognise her best probably though as Nene Legs in the Air from the movie Moulin Rouge.
Yes.
Yeah.
How long is this?
Well, also in the cast,
Oh.
forget about the other one. Also in the cast, we've got Gemma Sutton. Gemma recently was in the revival of Gypsy, which starred Imelda Staunton.
Did
She played June, but actually took over the role of Louise from Lara Pulver when she left the cast. Now, the show is 2 hours and 10 minutes long, including an interval.
So it's not too long.
No, then
Not through.
we'll catch you again for our 30-second interval breakdown then, and stay tuned to find out how many legs. We're here at the interval, which means it's time for the Break-a-leggers
30-second interval breakdown. Go! What do you think so far?
I am absolutely in love with it so far. If the second act is anything like the first, this could quite possibly be my favourite Kander Ebb. The songs are so well interwoven with the plot. The performances are so believable and on point. I'm loving it. What
Okay,
about
my
you?
turn. I love every single moment of this. It's really bringing back to me why I love it. The pace, the tempos are changing. The songs are so good. The cast is phenomenal in such a small space. So we've come to the end of the Rink here at the Southwark Playhouse. Now I know the Rink as a piece, so I've already got strong views of it myself. So I'm very interested to know what you made of it, as it's your first encounter of the Rink.
Well, I've been roller skating before, but that's
It's
about
as
as close as I've
yes.
ever got, and I'm not very good at it, and I'm certainly not as good as this piece is. In terms of musical theatre storytelling, and the fact that they've taken an everyday, mundane sort of a situation and made it into something that has musicality and beauty and talks about relationships and is utterly relatable. It's not a fantastical piece that you can't get on board with. It's something very human, and I would go so far to say as it's possibly one of the most human pieces of musical storytelling that I've ever seen.
Okay, that sounds okay, but is it any good? Did you like it?
I loved it. I thought
Okay.
it was
Cracked
great.
it! Okay, brilliant.
What did you think?
I absolutely loved everything about it. I think you're absolutely right in terms of being a human story. there's not much to it really. It's just two characters selling a property, and yet Terence McNally has made out of this a fantastic book where you develop the characters and you care about the characters. It moves with pace and changes tempo repeatedly between modern day and the past. Just like this, the cast as
not
well.
Their modern day, which is the 1970s.
Within wherever they are, and it's just so brilliant. I think that's the first nutshell.
So you thought it was all right?
It's blimmin' great. There are show-stopping numbers in this show. I decided pretty much after the first few numbers that this is great. This is everything I remembered. The music for me is absolutely brilliant. There are songs in there that I recognise. Did you recognise any other songs?
No, I didn't recognise a single song. I was saying that before we went in. When you think of Kander Ebb, there's always a song from each musical, which is a standalone staple, like All That Jazz from Chicago, like Life is a Cabaret from Cabaret. This doesn't have any of those. I've never heard the songs before.
This is a lesser
It's not
known
on
piece.
a compilation.
No one knows this really.
Yeah.
I think people have heard of this, but they don't.
Which is tragic, because you're right, the songs are beautiful, but sort of why they work so well is the way that they're interwoven with the plot.
Yeah.
They prop it up and they absolutely drive and compel, and that was the joy of the music in this piece. I think it's been a long time since I've seen a piece of musical theatre where the book and the score have worked so harmoniously.
But they've
together.
done so much. Kander Ebb and Terence McNally have done a lot together, and this was written as a star vehicle for Liza Minnelli and Chita Rivera, and it's almost as if it had a real personal approach, a touch, as if the writers knew the artists they were working with and just crafted some of the most beautiful lyrics, anthems, themes,
But that
melodies.
being said, the characters that have portrayed, the actors that have portrayed the characters in this piece, whether it was their own. I don't feel like I was watching an impersonation of Chita Rivera,
It's just written so
an
well.
impersonation of Liza Minnelli. So yes, whilst that may have been the initial sort of motivation, it does not mean that it cannot work in other productions. I mean, to be honest with you, I'd go so far to say it works better in this production if the reviews of the original are anything to go by. Another thing that I thought was so impressive was the choreography. The stage space is literally like they are performing on a postage stamp.
Tiny.
It's ridiculously claustrophobic. There are 8 of them in the cast, I think, and to have the amount of movement and energy on that stage for the set numbers, the set pieces, is, you know what? How they have not killed one another? How, I do not know. Like, it blows my mind.
Yes, great choreography in this space. It's such
Fabienne
an intimate
Alois.
space. Brilliant
Wow.
job. Right, let's move on to cast.
Yes.
Let's get a move on.
Okay, let's start with the lesser cast. Then we move on to the ladies.
We say lesser cast, basically the ensemble, which is
Yeah,
made up of 6
sorry.
men, and they are fantastic, every single one.
Yes.
Let's go through.
I thought Ben Redfern as Lenny was fantastic. His comic timing was brilliant. They play a huge, I say as Lenny, but they play a load of characters each.
Multiple characters.
And his characters were so distinctive and all absolutely sort of on point, and I really enjoyed his performances and the difference between those characterizations.
Yes, I agree. Next one.
Great. I also enjoyed Stuart Clark as predominantly Dino.
As predominantly, I thought he was fantastic.
Do you know
as
what?
well.
He's a matinee
Lovely
idol,
voice.
I think.
Yeah,
he's
a
going to
bit
go.
of a looker.
We saw him in Assassins at the Meniere, and he was great, but he was sort of, that was fine. But do you know what? I think you put him in the lead in the West End, and he would sell tickets. He's very attractive, very talented, and I want to see more of him.
Okay, so you liked him then.
I did.
He was really, really fantastic. Also, that stood out for me was Russ Dawes, is it?
Yeah.
Russ Dawes, almost one of the show-stopping numbers from the second act is actually the rink when they get up on their roller skates.
We saw Ross in Girl from the North Country.
Oh, yes, we did.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, in this on his roller skates, he is a demon.
Unbelievably
The man can
so.
twirl and twirl and twirl.
He ain't young.
And he
And he
owns
moves
that stage.
better than some of the, youngsters. He can do
Yes.
things with his body that I can't do with mine.
And do you know what? To perform that whole number, the whole male company on skates, and that's such a high impact vocal number and physical number, they gave 200% and they nailed it. Like, it is a show-stopping number. In fact, in this show, I think it felt as if the applause went on for 2 minutes. I thought it
Well,
could
there
have
was
gone on and on.
there were certain pockets of the audience standing at the end of that number.
There were,
It's that
yes.
good. Just for the ticket price alone, that number is worth it.
But male company are fantastic. So if we haven't named you, but you're all brilliant.
Absolutely.
So 2 females.
Let's start with Gemma Sutton as Angel. Now, I think if I was playing a character that had been portrayed by Liza Minnelli, I would be very tempted to sort of fall into a drag
Carbon
act
copy.
routine.
Yeah.
I really would be tempted. She hasn't done that at all. I would also say, her vocal range is different to Liza. Her voice
Yes.
sits in a totally different place, which I think has helped make this character hers and not Liza's. Comparisons are going to be drawn, but do you know what? They needn't be, because it's a different portrayal. I've heard some of the songs, like I say, from the Rink before, and I wasn't pining for Liza, and her performance and her believability, fantastic.
Yeah, I love it. It's just an absolute colliding of worlds between her and the last character, Caroline
O'Connor, the actress playing the role of Anna.
Yeah, I thought she was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Legs going up and flying in the air. She has some. Oh, her first number is such a punch. Like, again, the applause went on and on and on. I was almost thinking, how is this show going to get better than this first number? Because it's so well written and she performs it so well.
Absolutely. I think that's she's the very definition of a triple threat. She can dance, she can sing, and her acting is phenomenal.
So dry. She's perfect, this character.
She really is, and she's. It's just her mannerisms and the way that she embodied this sort of slightly bitter, slightly jaded older woman. I've got to say, the audience were totally on her side. It was predominantly, to me, it seemed an audience of largely men. Maybe some of them were gay, I don't know. But they seemed to be able to relate with the cutting wit and the delivery that Caroline O'Connor gave. And that was joyous. I think we were all a bit Anna sometimes.
I've got to say that the writing is so good that in the wrong hands, a lot of his text in the character of Anna, I think, would fall flat. But Caroline absolutely understood the nuance of how to deliver each line for that character. So top notch.
She's
great
a star.
casting.
She's an absolute star. You can tell she's no stranger to the stage, but you can also totally appreciate she's exactly where she should be.
She eats the stage for breakfast.
What a boon to get her in this production.
So I guess you're probably wondering how many legs. Are we going on to legs? Hold on.
We're
going to talk
not
about the
mentioning
set.
anything about director, set, nothing.
Okay, well, let's talk about direction briefly, because then direction, we always, if a show is good, we do often forget the director.
Yeah, we do. And
directors.
I've got to say that they bring that show together, and Adam Lenson has done a phenomenal job here. I get the feeling with this piece, when you love it, you sort of want to do it proud, and I think he has done it proud.
Okay, set design.
Set design, Beck Chippendale.
What do you think of the set?
Rescue Rangers. I thought it was great.
Perfect.
I mean, yeah.
Adequate, not adequate in a bad way. Like, it was perfect for this venue.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's such a small space. It's really, really tricky. There are a couple of sort of low walls on stage, which I was thinking maybe with a bit more, stage. What's the word? Sort of. I don't know. I would want to maybe reel those in and out just to give the floor space a bit more during the sort of the skating numbers. The low walls, if they'd have gone back into the wall, then I just think they would have opened it up a little bit. Maybe we could have done a bit more with it. But other than that, I thought it was great.
I disagree. I thought the set was great. I thought what did complement the set very well was the use of lighting.
Yes.
A very simple, clever design as a roof piece, but it worked so well and integrated into the musical numbers to amplify some of those real character moments. Yeah.
Matt Dorr was the lighting. And one more shout out, Richard Morby. Caroline's wig was fabulous.
Okay.
It really was.
So now I think we are ready to tell you how many legs for this piece. I'm not sure if you can guess.
For the Rink, playing at the Southwark Playhouse until the end of June 2018, we are going to give 5
legs.
5 legs,
A full house for this one.
Yeah, I loved it. I totally related to it. I think if you've got children or you've had awkward relationships with your parents, you are gonna totally be on board and relate with this. They got such a good deal with the fact that this is considered to be Kander's and Ebb's worst moment. And you know what? It's not at all.
It's not.
I have seen a lot worse.
We think it's a musical masterpiece and a book masterpiece.
Go and see it. You don't have long.
But that's just what we think.
It's just what we think.
What did you think?
Yeah, let us know. Leave us a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. We're the Breaker Leggers.
And we'll catch you again soon. Bye!